y'all. Welcome back to another great episode of the Growing and Flowing podcast. My name is Brandy. If you are new here, feel free to call me Brand. I do love when people call me that. So, before we jump into my episode today, I just wanted to share something. So, I watched this video a few months back on YouTube, and it was with this author just talking about life and whatnot. And I remember him saying, you guys have heard the phrase before, what wants me back. And he was like, sometimes people feel like that phrase doesn't work for them. And he was like, you want to know why? He was like, oftentimes when people ask us what we want, we say, I don't know, which is true. Well, now, granted, it depends on the conversation, exactly what you're talking about. Are we talking about life in general? Are we talking about certain goals? But like, I feel like me, because I'm a very indecisive person too, like sometimes I'm like, a lot of times actually, I'm like, I don't even know what I want. Like, and if you think about last episode, how, I talked about how I've been feeling lost. It's like, what do I want? So we have to figure out what we want, ultimately, really. And this is going to lead me into my topic of this week. But before we get into that, quick update. I don't really know what's going on in life. Again, I've just been here. It's feeling like a little bit more of uncertainty with work. Just where I'm at is like super slow, and like I don't know, and it kind of feels like they've been giving me busy work, and I don't really like that. It's like, what y'all not telling me? So I don't know. So I've been trying to stay positive, hang in there, because ultimately you can't really be scared of the unknown, right? So yeah, other than that, I had a really great weekend, guys. I caught up on some sleep. I just feel like recently I've been tired, like real tired. I just slept so much on Friday. I slept so much on Saturday, and then I had a productive Sunday. So I was like, all right, check me out. So I actually am recording this on Monday of the week that this will drop. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna have a great week. And I'm off because I took off on Thursday and Friday this week because I'm going to be going back home for Drew's event for a few days. Woo! Hey, Drew. Shout out to Drew. Love Drew. And thank you for the random messages you always send me. I want to say that for anybody else that listens, that knows you or goes to your events or anything like that. Drew is honestly a phenomenal person. I'm going to toot your horn because you deserve it. And I know we all go through our ups and downs, and, as we go through things, and as humans, I know we aren't always happy, and I know you aren't always happy, but thank you for always being that joy when I didn't know I needed it. Yeah, that's really appreciated. So this subject, I'm going to piggyback off of a little bit about what I talked about last episode. You know how I was talking about how money has been my motivation behind things. And you see, again, that brings me back to how I've been feeling. Like, I know exactly why I feel this way when I think about things down the line, right? I think sometimes I seek things that I know aren't good for me because I know it'll get me to the money. And honestly, that has been very detrimental to my mental health. I think I've had phases of burnout, honestly, in some sort, shape, way, or form. I think I'm in a phase of burnout. And for instance, like when I did move up with Walmart, like just vibes, but I knew it would get me to more money. And I remember one of my managers at the time, he was like, you sure you want to be a salary member of management? He was like, it kind of takes your life away in a way. You have to work all these hours, da da da. And like I knew that, but it was like whatever to me. And I suffered so much, y'all, especially in the latter half of before I left. I suffered so much, ultimately because I was being greedy. Because even when I got promoted after I became salary, they changed the structure of some more stuff. So they changed this new thing to another name. And it included more responsibilities, but my pay went up. And I did get the promotion because I'm phenomenal at work. And then that's when I really started to be scrutinized and picked on. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that. Like, I was picked on. It felt like I had a target on my back. And I feel like that happens a lot too when you're in a position of power when you're younger than everybody else. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, older people can't understand how you got in your position and don't understand how times have changed. And like, just because you've been with a company for like 20 years and it took you forever to move it, like, or like it took you forever to make a bag, like, or your promotions weren't as phenomenal money wise because just times have changed, right? Minimum wage has changed. So it's just like, wow, we really get the back end of that. That's crazy. So with a lot of things too, I also feel like used to seek this validation, or I knew the validation was there. So I would ignore so many red flags and get myself in predicaments where ultimately, of course, it was my fault, but sometimes I wasn't as blindsided as I thought I was. So for instance, with content creating, one of the reasons why I did stop is because I've talked about a comparison thing up here, but I used to be so in my head about like numbers and like what brands really wanted from me. And like the brands that would give the bites, that were like so interested in my work, that would praise me, but wanted to lowball me, or me just not reading something in full and like signing it because I wanted it so bad, just based off of, I already got the validation. Like, I got the validation from them, other people. So it's just like, yo, take. This is going to get me to the thing. Or it's just like, I used to go into things so blindsided. Or I would give people so many chances. And when I say people, I mean companies. So many chances to do right with me. When from jump, they showed me that they did not want to do right by me. Even if that was with communication, if that was with what they were offering me for pay, it was just like, like really, I would do dumb shit. That's what I'm going to call it, because that's really what I used to do. Because I used to content creation, like, I made that my purpose for a second, but ultimately realizing that I wasn't as invested as I thought I was, but felt like I was invested because I wanted, quote unquote, the thing so bad. And like, even when I look back, it's just like, I knew I was good at things, but ultimately I don't really know what I wanted from that. Because, and I've talked about it before, is it's like, I couldn't be myself with that. Like, it puts you in a box, but I still did it. Even though I was doing things that weren't me, I still did it because I already had the validation from other people that I was good at it. Oh my gosh. And I'm the type of person that likes praise for my work. And I think it's important in like professionally too as well. But I'm the type of person that likes any type of feedback, positive, negative. I'm the type of person that can take negative feedback and figure out exactly what I did wrong and know how to fix it, or go along the lines of like taking the steps to actually fix it. Like, I'm that type of person. And I think as a kid, it's not like, I think as a kid, I always felt like it was nothing that I was good at. But because I just never thought about the things that I was good at, every time that I started something, it had to stop. Like, I remember I used to do dance classes, which I'll be forgetting. So I used to do ballet and tap dance. And where I used to go was at the rec center down the street across the railroad tracks. Like, maybe for me, like, maybe 10, 15-minute walk. And I used to be able to walk to classes when my mom couldn't take me. So then she ended up moving. The teacher, I think they closed the rec center. She ended up moving to a different rec center that was a little bit further down. And then times just changed. Like, I couldn't walk there. And the times just didn't, my mom couldn't take me really because of her work schedule. She was a single mom. So then it's like, all right, I had to give that up. And then gymnastics. I had did some gymnastic classes before, and I could walk there too. A little bit of a longer walk, giving 20, 25 minutes. But like, I did it on those days that I wanted to go. But I was a little older. Was I in high school? Like maybe freshman year or sophomore year? Because I remember I wanted to learn how to tumble for cheerleading. And then I had to stop going there because my mom didn't want to pay for it anymore. Came to like what we could afford, and that got the cut. And then I was like, okay, that was a thing that I was kind of interested in, but I can't really do anymore. But also I realized that, when you do gymnastics and you're older, it's kind of harder because you're not as fearless as you are when you're like 2. Like, you'll do anything, literally. So, but then I still had some disappointment there because that was something that I kind of liked that I couldn't do anymore. And I just didn't have the activities that I was just like, ooh, like this is a thing that, and then my mom would be able to validate. Like, I just didn't have those things. And then I was in chorus. And when my concerts, I don't even think my mom went to any of my concerts. And that may sound sad. Don't feel sad for me. I be saying that all the time, but don't feel sad for me. I know sometimes she just couldn't make it, but if y'all remember, I mentioned that the military messed up my mom's foot in like '07, so she wasn't driving, so like she couldn't really get to certain places. And then my mom was just a very prideful mom. She would never ask anybody for help. She never want anybody to think that she had help. So when there was opportunities to get a ride from X, Y, and Z, like my best friend that I had at the time, their mom would drive and then like offer to like take my mom, whatever, and my mom would be like, no, like tell them like no, it's okay, but like it was like, yo, now that I think about it, at the expense of you not being there for me, and I just never got that validation. So I think sometimes I do seek external validation, but not from people though. I would say people that I know, people that I'm acquainted with, associates. Like, I don't really expect that from people, but I think I always try to be the best at what I do, because I don't know, y'all. I do know because I always want to be in a position of like, if somebody got to go, it ain't gonna be me. Like, you ain't never gonna say that I'm never in the running for a promotion or for the next step of my career or whatever because I can't deliver. But that always hasn't been a healthy thing for me, like in other aspects of my life, because then I think I question like, yo, am I good enough? Like, am I really good enough? Or was I good enough for that? Did I give my all? And sometimes when I don't give my all, it's like I do that thing where I disappoint myself. And it's just like, no, Brandy, you did not do everything in your power to even get whatever you were seeking. And that's been some tough, honest conversations to myself, because it goes back to like, you really got to be honest with yourself with the time and the work you put in for something that you're working towards. And I've done that with so many things that ultimately I wasn't fully interested in. But because I was kind of good at it or can be good at it, it's just like, oh, let's just do it. But ultimately, it's not really bringing me joy. And y'all, and I was just working on something the other day, and like I procrastinated, not because I didn't want to do it. It just sometimes like work just be seeming like a lot of work and on the side, outside of corporate. And ultimately it don't really be that. Like, my anxiety just really be getting in the way. And then like once I get started, like when I'm in the moment, like even if something taking a long time, it's like, yo, if I truly enjoy doing it, I'm gonna keep doing it. Or I know what needs to get done and I know exactly how to do it. It's just all about me starting the task. And sometimes it is very hard for me to be a self-starter with stuff like that. And I don't know if that goes back to me not having validation. Like that push right in front of me. And I remember somebody told me, like, this was maybe like a year ago, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And I forgot what we were talking about, but I think it was at a point where I was just, this is when I didn't have a job, and like I was just, working on growing my Instagram for content creation. And like after this time period passed, like the person told me they were like, they were, they were telling me what I needed to do, but they needed a little bit more from me in regards to me being able to push myself to do the thing. Like, you can talk all you want, but if you are not doing the things, it's just, ultimately it's a lot of talk. Just like when we get into like, when we take forever to just start that thing that we want to start. But it's like, okay, we let time pass sometimes. So much time can pass when we just keep talking and not doing. Sometimes you just gotta jump into it and then learn as you start. And I think sometimes that's hard for me too, because like I typically don't like to start things that I don't know shit about. Other than my podcast. When I started my podcast, I knew nothing. And I just literally recorded on my voice note. And when I was talking to one of my creative friends, he was telling me, he was like, you can literally just start it like on your notes app. And that's all it took. I just had to record one day and then build from there. And I don't know, as like I searched to find my thing, I gotta gravitate towards the things that ultimately like really feel right versus ignoring that little inner voice. Like y'all, and I saw this TikTok the other day, and the lady was basically like, it is hard to follow your inner voice because it's uncomfortable when it's not the answer that we want. It's hella uncomfortable to follow that. But in our heart of hearts, we really know the answer. And y'all, I have ignored that inner voice so many times. So many. And I think for me, when it comes up, I'm calling it an inner voice, but sometimes maybe it's not an inner voice. I wouldn't say it's a feeling, but it's just like just something in the back of my head is just, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I think a lot of times if I'm not like certain, then it's a no, for real. Or if I'm in the moment and I'm about to do something, and in that moment it's not like yes, it's just like, okay, Brandy, I need to stop and I need to think. But see, impulse me doesn't always do that. Like, she would just be like, go, do that thing. Just do it. And that is from childhood. Me always chasing the thing that is gonna make me be successful, aka get me to the bag. Because again, I've always been taught, be strong. You don't need nobody for nothing. That's literally the basis of what I mean. Figure it out. You gotta figure it out. And I just never really had that path of like what figuring it out looks like. Like, granted, everybody's path looks different or whatever. I'm just mean with my upbringing, like my mom just wasn't nourishing in that way that I needed. And some days are very hard because I think within myself I try to find that nourishment. As I give myself the love that I've never given myself before, it's been opening my eyes to so many things and so many pieces in life that I was missing that contributes to some of the choices that I had made in the past that sometimes just wasn't the best choices. So y'all, I'm working on being gentle with myself as I figure out this next segment of my life. Because a lot of days I just really don't know. But again, I'm trying to do what feels right and what I'm pulled towards. I just have to trust that that's actually what I like and what I actually want to work on and not question it. So, yeah, guys, as you figure this life shit out, figure a situation out, figure getting the answer to something, be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with the decision, the choice, the thing you're working on. Is up to you, up to us, up to me. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. I don't know. I just wanted to share that. Yeah, I got a cool guest episode coming up that I am recording this Sunday coming up. So hopefully I'll be able to drop that 2 weeks from then. That's probably going to be my last episode of the season. I may stick to the 10 episodes. I think I'm going to stick to the 10 episodes, guys. But I got to decide on how long I want my breaks and my segments to be. But yeah, I did want more guest episodes for you guys. Just life just kind of got in the way. So next season, definitely going to have some more because I'm going to be recording another one a few weeks after this one. And then I got to line up some more. So thank you guys for listening to me. It's always appreciated. Brand loves you. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.